Hey everybody. So I thought today we would talk about internal versus external locus of control. These are really important topics to consider, especially in the beginning of your journey. So I'm curious. I want you to think about these questions seriously, right? I'm curious, do you feel like you have control over your environments and where your life goes and how your life will play out? If you do feel like you can control that and you have a strong sense of that, then you're probably have an internal locus of control. Otherwise, if you feel like, events, people, situations, or even the environment you are in are going to dictate your life, then you probably have an external locus of control. This is really, really important to figure this out early on because the whole self-fulfilling prophecy thing, right? If you believe you can, you will. If you believe you can't, you won't, right? Because you don't even try if you don't have that belief first. And if you think about it, it makes complete sense because every invention, idea, beautiful piece of art, idea for a home, anything, it all started first in our minds, right? Who would have ever thought we could talk on a phone and it could end up in Japan, right? And now we can actually see the person like they're right here, which is pretty cool. These are things that back then would have sounded so far beyond reach, right? But it's important to be asking yourself these things, do you feel like people, events, and situations and environments are going to dictate how far you can go in life? And do you give them that power to do so? Do you let those events and situations and environments affect your mood to where it's your downfall? Or are they productive? It's important to recognize if they are productive. But if you have a strong internal locus of control, you can be in those environments and really empower change and support those people, right? So, there's different shades of gray in that. But also, do you constantly need validation, praise, recognition, or even feedback from your environments to feel worthy or important, right? If you're one of those people that need that to feel, a sense of success, then you're probably have an external locus of control. Also, do you think or allow things like people's statuses, their titles, ranks, and things like that impress you and influence your actions and behaviors and your life going forward? It's important to be able to recognize these things. And if you allow those things to impress you, you're probably externally motivated, which means that, you're influenced by money and power and those types of things, Whereas if people are, motivated by passion and purpose, they're more internally motivated, right? So with that being said, again, the whole self-fulfilling prophecy, it all starts in your belief. So you really have to analyze and ask yourself, do you feel like you have control of your life and where it's going to go? And I know sometimes that can be difficult, especially, again, if you're going through a lot of struggles getting your basic needs met, like maybe, housing, food, shelter, it's really hard to focus on your mental health if you have any of those issues. So please, 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 if you're any of those people, please reach out. I do have a very strong network, and I am a social worker. So, please reach out and I'll be glad to look up some resources for you so you can focus on, then getting that power back within yourself and that, internal locus of control where you know that you are driving your boat and you're driving your ship. So with that being said, I thought, we would talk about, exactly what the definition of internal versus external locus of control means. Internal locus of control is the belief that a person has control over their lives and their outcomes based on their own actions, right? So this is profound, right? Because if you feel like if you do X, Y, and Z, you could make it to, D, then you're going to take those steps, right? But if you don't believe it's even possible, you're not going to take those steps. External locus of control means that you focus more on or put your energy towards luck, fate, or other people and situations, which then are going to make you responsible for your success, right? So it's who you can, your external environment is going to determine your success. So why is this important? Again, you have to recognize that, having that internal locus of control will allow you to know that you can take those steps. You can become empowered. You can learn and you can grow no matter what point you're starting from. Because believe me, I've heard, I worked in youth services and and in an abuse and violence for over a decade now. And I've heard some pretty horrific stories, and people overcome these challenges every day, way worse than what I went through. I'm just here to hopefully offer some insight on how you can move forward. So, lucky for me, I do have that strong sense of an internal locus of control. I really feel like that my actions can influence the world in positive ways. Small acts of kindness and things like that, I do believe have the power to transform, individuals and communities. Also, by following my purpose, I get to live by my own laws and standards. I get to decide, does this sit right in my heart? Does this feel good? Is this going to allow me to sleep good at night? And I will tell you this, one thing that's always kept me on the positive end of that is not retaliating and not engaging in revenge, because once you do that, then I wouldn't be able to sleep good at night, right? So definitely want to avoid those situations if you can, and just focus on the steps that you can take to move your life forward. And it wasn't always easy, right? Because obviously, some of the situations, if you've watched my earlier videos, some of my history and things that I've gone through in my past. And I could have very easily allowed my environments to dictate, whether or not I was going to continue moving forward or keep trying or try a new idea or try a new way or start over. Lord knows I've started over about 4 times, and I'm starting over again now, and I'm gathering furniture for my apartment. So I'm super excited. Anyway, I realized that I had the power within. Nobody's going to dictate my success but me, right? But that also includes me taking the actions and moving my own path forward. That doesn't mean me sitting back and passive. Hence, I get a lot of joy and release from doing these videos, and I'm not sure that they help anyone. I hope that somehow they do, or at least maybe inspire a person or two. So with that being said, I gotta say a huge part of forging my fort and my structure with that internal locus of control was definitely through isolation, and I know especially anybody that struggles with PTSD or trauma or depression and things like that, we could tend to feel isolated sometimes, but rather of looking at that isolation as a negative thing, realize that is the one thing that was the most profound and powerful thing that really advanced and moved my life forward. I like to say it's just what the doctor ordered. And Lord knows I like the doctor. Anyway, another thing is meditation. Meditation is super helpful. Again, quieting the mind. There is nothing more profound by knowing that you have a sense of inner control. I think we all witness this, no matter where we come from or what environment we're in. People try to control others and the world around them to gain leverage or get ahead or get that job promotion and all of that, not realizing that the true power lies in self-control. When we become proactive instead of reacting based on others in our environment, that's when we have the power to change. So you really have to focus on that. And I do believe meditation helps with that, because it helps you, number one, to be able to put yourself into alpha or theta very quickly so that you can calm yourself down very quickly, which reach out if you want me to explain anything I talk about. If you want further details, I'll be glad to hop on the phone with anybody or talk to anybody privately. But meditation definitely helps. And then also recognizing when we're going to be reactive. So taking that pause, before engaging in anything, and I guarantee you in the process, you're going to strengthen relationships and you'll see the environments around you transform. I got to say, I'm always blessed with the best teams and the best bosses and the best mentors and the best professors who have become lifelong friends and teachers and coaches and, all these people. So, make sure you're plugging yourself in with the right network. And again, I love connecting people, and I'd be glad to connect you with any people or resources or anything that may be beneficial to help empower you. So with this being said, one of the best things about this whole process is you realize how laws, policies, and procedures are just like such a waste of time. They never should have had to be created in the first place if people learned how to act. It's balance. You can't give more than you take. Every system, whether it's our body, a community, a group, it takes balance, and, this part giving this and that part giving that and this part taking this and this part taking that and distributing that to the other part. And when we can do that to work together, whether it's our body and our health and our life, or whether it's our group or our communities, we shouldn't need laws, policies, or anything else to make that achievable, so just some food for thought there. So with that being said, I think I'll end this video with my favorite quote. Those who know me or who have listened to some of my prior videos, you should be familiar with this quote by now, but I love it. I just think it's the best ever, and it's the one that I discovered, 15 years ago or whatever, and it's always stayed at the top of my mind because it's so true. Really, we shouldn't need people to tell us how to act. If we're engaging in the way that whoever, God, whatever creator, whatever put us all together here on this earth as this beautiful masterpiece, they didn't see us competing. They saw us existing in harmony and balance and peace. So with that being said, I am free no matter what rules surround me. If I find them tolerable, I tolerate them. If I find them obnoxious, I break them. I am free because I am mentally and morally responsible for everything that I do. And by the way, you have to face yourself, people. If you're putting negativity, energy, hate, and all that out into the world, that's probably the environments that you're surrounding yourself with, because positive people and love and support and empowerment, they don't want to be like that. So it's going to be like a cancer that gets isolated and eventually pushed out. Just remember, be positive. Understand environments affect us. If yours isn't good for you, change it, right? If you don't have we spend too much time at work, 40 hours a week at work. If your work environment is toxic, get the hell out of there. There's way too many jobs, Again, reach out. I may know of a position or a network or somebody to plug you in with. My mom always said, if you don't ask, the answer is always no. And I really like helping people in general and empowering one another. So if you have any questions or, would like to connect, feel free to reach out. Kelly at mentorsmovingmountains.com. Stay blessed, everybody.